Hello, everyone. My name is Karit St. Tall, and I'm part of the DC Health Brain Health Initiative program. And through learning how dementia impacts families, I believe that with the right resources and support, we can help people live with dignity, connection, and purpose.
My name is Christina Prather. I'm a physician, geriatrician, palliative care specialist, and one of the things that I love to do most is take care of patients and families who are living with dementia. In the first stage of dementia, which is often called early or mild stage disease, people are starting to see just subtle changes that are disruptive to day-to-day life. So you see things like short-term memory loss, forgetting recent events, difficulty with making a complex meal that you used to be able to do.
I'm pouring the oil in the pan. I cut the stove on. I do one yolk and the rest white.
People express difficulty with finding words to describe something that is very familiar to them.
Oh, son, please get Mama a fork. I forgot the fork. I'm sorry, yo, I tell you. Get me a fork.
So,
I'm taking my Monday's medicine. The first thing that I noticed, I couldn't remember nothing. And I was thinking maybe people think I'm crazy. Lo and behold, he came home. He said, "Mama, what did you do all day?" I said, "Well, I don't know."
I noticed a few things where she would become like forgetful of her medicine. I would ask her, "Well, have you taken your insulin today?" She'd be like, "Well, I think I did." I got an aspirin. I take the aspirin today. I got, I don't know what else I got. There you go. And then I noticed like the pills she would not be taking during the week. So that's how I kind of started to notice some things. That's when my brother and I, we started to wonder, well, if it's Alzheimer's, if it's dementia is starting to come. So that's how we started to notice. And I said, well, she need to go to the doctor to see if she has like any dementia all time, because we had started to notice the decrease in her being able to remember.
The important thing is being able to communicate with other people. They said, "Well, no, we're going to try to help you the best way we can." That's why I was excited to come to see you all. And you sat there and you talked to me. You explained to me this is something that happens sometimes to elderly people. The things that you said to me, it made me feel that I could trust you, and what you were saying, that is the truth.
I've heard of dementia, I've heard of Alzheimer's, but I myself, I didn't really look into it so much because I didn't have to deal with it. But now, since my mother has it, I have to deal with it. So I have to really know and really gain knowledge of what it's about. And it's something where people, they want to talk about it, but they don't want to talk about it. And I think as people get older, there's certain things that, you have to realize that take place in all of our lives. I know that there's a neighbor who lives here. She has dementia too. I always see her daughter all the time. So when we talk, we always kind of talk about things. She kind of tells me how Miss Stanfield is doing, some of the things Miss Stanfield is saying. She just kind of talks to me about it. Sometimes people won't say anything, but once you say, well, hey, I'm dealing with this, and they're like, oh, you dealing with that? I'm dealing with that too. And then that's how the dialogue itself starts.
If you're an exhausted caregiver that's not taking care of your mental health and not taking care of your physical health and are really just burnt out or exhausted, you need to find an outlet and a place to recharge so that you can come back to that daily caregiving task.
For example, I had to go visit a good friend of mine in Philadelphia. So I had to tell my brother, I said, well, hey, look, you had to check on her, make sure she all right. He said, okay. And then, I'll let him know when I'm coming back. That's one thing I say I've learned from this, is that you have to walk with them on this journey to helping them to be able to have fulfillment and continue to have joy and laughter and be able to be active through this journey. I believe it's still things to learn. When you talk to people, you have to make people feel personal, like you're with them, that you care about their situation. Not like it's like you're a person that's part of their assembly line. It gives a sense of comfort, it gives a sense of peace, and I believe it gives a sense of trust. And I think that's one of the most important things that I would tell anybody. Just try to make sure that they enjoy their days.
Mom knew that changes were occurring with her mentally, and as a part of the wellness center that she was with, they had them do a little memoir about themselves, and Mama titled her "What a Glorious Life," and she gave each one of us a copy, and this is my signed autograph copy right here.
In the moderate or middle stage of dementia, memory loss is progressing. People are developing more episodes of confusion. Personality changes may intensify. And it's really in this stage that caregivers are stepping in to partner and help with daily tasks. You like having the help they give you?
Yes, but I also don't want to be a problem.
But you know you're not. Huh? But you know you're not.
You're not a problem, Mom. Just like we weren't a problem. We're in this together. Okay? What you're looking at is a person that had faith in response, faith in action, and faith in application. All of her children graduated from college. All of us have become successful in our particular field of study. No one in her family has had dementia or Alzheimer's. She is the only one that got it. But the difference between her and them is she didn't talk the talk, she walked it.
So in the middle stage of disease, caregiving needs are really starting to increase because people need prompting to remember to do their daily tasks. They're developing difficulty with their executive function. They might not be able to sit down and make a full meal, but they'll eat a full meal that's put in front of them. And this is when caregiving really starts to become more of a full-time job.
So life has been different because now it's not just me that I have to take care of and look after. I need to make sure I'm home by a certain time. So not really having the flexibility to move or do things when I want to or go places when I want to because of having my mother, it can be a little challenging. I may have had to adjust.
Oh, she found a piece of candy. All right, he got one right here. Glove. You said you wanted gloves. Oh. You're too busy finding candy.
It's like having a child, and I don't have children either. Good morning. Hi, Mommy. How you doing? Everything is right there. We're gonna go and put your shoes on first, so that then you're gonna wash your hands, and then we're gonna sit down and eat. We got about 20 minutes. Having to do your schedule where I may want to go out with the girls. I may want to go to a party. I just may want to go out. That cannot happen. So you have to be mindful also of who you have watching her. It's a responsibility, and your life is on hold. But you better take the opportunities and chances that you have. You have to be home at a certain time because there's medication to administer. And so familiarity with people, you just don't want to be with anybody. And she's at her happiest. We have to be together.
I kind of joke with her and I say that we're co-parenting and she's the mom and I'm the dad. So it definitely helps having a co-parent or someone that you can be able to share the responsibilities with. And I don't know what I would do without a planner. Being able to have someone that you can work with is definitely a blessing, because I don't know how we would be able to do it without each other.
Oh, wow. I met Carla in undergraduate school. We both went to North Carolina A&T, and I thought she was the prettiest woman I'd ever seen, but I was intimidated, so I did not ask her out. Fortunately, we had a class together, a history class, and so we became study partners on several projects. I'll never forget, I was out walking around the stadium, and you called and said, we have the results. And I said, okay. And you said, are you sitting down? I said, no, I'm walking, but okay, but I'll be fine. And you said, well, she clearly has vascular dementia. We think she has some Alzheimer's. And she was at first very unaccepting of the diagnosis. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just I forget things sometimes. There's nothing wrong with me. And then from that, we started to see the really dramatic decline, and to a point where even she was acknowledging that she had some significant challenges. In the run-up to her getting the diagnosis, I had to convince her that it was serious enough. And I was having a very difficult time doing that. She began to ask me every other day, what are we doing? When are we going to do it? So we brought her over, and she did the assessment. And then I said, how did she do? And you said she did not do very well. And then you described some of the tasks that she couldn't do, like draw a circle, put the numbers in for a clock and tell you what time, 3 o'clock or 6 o'clock. She couldn't do it. And that's when I knew, I said, this thing is pretty bad. And you said, based on that, she probably needs to have an MRI. The process of arranging for her care and working with my sisters to provide the care sort of sustained me. Because I always felt like when I left for DC, that everything was okay. Pretty soon we reached a point where my sisters called and said, we're gonna have to do something different. I said, why? They said, well, she'll tell us she has to go to the bathroom. And we'll say, okay, we'll go, get up and go. And then she'll go walk in a room where there's not the bathroom. And so then we go check, and she's sitting on a box in the office. And they said, I thought you had to go to the bathroom. She said, I am. And that's when they said, you're gonna have to get some help. That was the hardest part of the whole thing. Because I remember we had a conversation very early in her disease. And she was having more than a moment of clarity. And she said, I want you to promise, I don't know where this is going, but I want you to promise never to put me in a facility. And me, being ignorant of what I faced, so you don't have to worry about that. We're family, we're gonna take care of you. Man, when I reached that point, it was just gut-wrenching. I don't think she realized why we were taking her. The adjustment wasn't hard on her, but it was hard on her family. I remember when I went to go get some furniture and put it in the facility, and I was explaining to him and his wife that I was about to put her in the facility, I just started crying. So I would go over there every day. And then sometimes she would say to me, well, Wayne will fix that. Wayne, like if somebody will say something completely unrelated, and she'll say, tell them don't worry, Wayne will fix that. And I said, wow, she doesn't realize that it's me here. So I went over, and I didn't say anything. I just sort of held her hand, and it was clear she didn't recognize me either. But then I started talking, and it's almost like she lit up. She recognized my voice, and then she didn't. At one point I said, who am I? She said, Wayne Turnage. And I was just like stunned, and then, it all, so I went back, I did some more research, and they said sometimes with the dementia patients, they are able to draw on memories based on sound as opposed to looking at somebody and immediately recognizing them. And it was heartwarming to me. her sister came down, I guess it was last week, and I came to the facility after she had already been there, and the staff know me really well, and they said, "Wayne's here, Wayne's coming," and then I made this booming noise in my voice, and my sister-in-law said, "You should have seen her when she heard your voice. She tried to get out of the wheelchair." She said, "But she clearly responded to your voice." And so that's kind of comforting, because when she's lost and not recognizing me, I can start talking, and sometimes I'll go in the room at night after they put her in bed, and I'll talk to her, and she'll talk back, and I can tell from the conversation that she recognizes who I am, and it's all voice driven. So when I came home and told her that, I had spoken to you and that you were going to recommend her for hospice, she was like, "What? Hospice?" I said, "You got a problem with it?" She said, "She's not dying." I said, two things. One, the doctor says that the definition of hospice is if you were to die within 6 months, it would not be a medical surprise. I think we all can agree that if Carla were to die within the next 6 months, it wouldn't be a medical surprise. I said, but secondly, hospice is comfort care, and she'll get more attention because what's more important there is that she's comfortable, not the length of her life. I said, because this is not a life that she will want. Her family in Greensboro were very skeptical. They are of the mind that God's going to heal Carla and walk her out of that facility. At least one of them is. And so whenever you hear talk that would suggest that things are moving in the opposite direction, they have a tendency to think that, we've given up.
We have to find a way to live in a space of hope, to live in a space where every moment matters. Every opportunity you have to bring out who they are, to hear them laugh, to see them smile, to sit as a family and create cherished memories. Perhaps they're different memories than you thought you'd be making at any phase in life. Maybe it's not how you thought you were going to be making a memory with your mom or your partner or your brother or your sister, but they're still memories.
My name is Grace Williams. I am a scientist and Alzheimer's advocate, but I'm also a daughter, a granddaughter, and a caregiver. I've sat in exam rooms, juggled journal articles and bills at midnight, and felt the fear and uncertainty that comes from noticing changes within someone you love.
My name is Stanley K. Williams. I am 77 years old. I'll be 78 next week. Oftentimes, families, when someone is ill or something like that, they kind of try to downplay it or keep it a secret as such. And I would say do the opposite. Talk to as many people as you can. You never know who in their family might be experiencing something similar, or what resources they might be aware of that they can lead you to assist in helping your family member.
There are various options for support outside of your immediate family. There are support groups, online forums, educational workshops, webinars, therapy, memory care clinics, home care services, adult day programs, and memory or senior living communities. These resources can provide safety, connection, education, and hope. Care decisions may change over time, and that's okay. My dad really enjoyed the option to just engage and socialize at day programs. They range from everything from concerts to painting classes, intro to pottery. And, it's just a great way to stay engaged and socialize during the day.